Well, Brenda Snipes has resigned in her position as supervisor of elections in Broward. She's given up her position. A lot of people thinking she should have been fired before the midterms even started. They are saying here that it's true. An attorney who works at the Council of the Supervisor of Elections office is confirming that it is true. She did send it, her resignation. She submitted this late yesterday, Sunday, just hours after Florida's election recounts had been finalized. So this was after these recounts had been finalized. Again, people wondering why it hadn't happened earlier. And the other main question is this the end of what is going to happen with Brenda Snipes? Good start, I guess, that she's out of her position as elections supervisor here, but people probably thinking that they should go further, possible lawsuits. There could be further lawsuits. There are grounds for possible criminal charges as well. What about the other 12 previous times that Brenda Snipes has been incompetent or possibly criminal? Trump had already said that she should be fired and has said that you can't even properly call her incompetent. When they call Brenda Snipes incompetent, President Trump said a few days ago they're wrong. She's very competent, but in a bad way. So she's corrupt, is what not just Donald Trump has said. Even other Democrats, fellow Democrats. One of the previous issues goes back to 2016, where Snipes had illegally destroyed ballots in a race that was won by Debbie Wasserman Schultz that people wanted to look further into. There was a lawsuit actually after Wasserman Schultz had won by Tim Canova. And Brenda Snipes, at the time in 2016, she was still Broward election supervisor. She illegally destroyed these ballots. The judge did say that it was illegal, the fact that these ballots had been destroyed by the county supervisor of elections, Brenda Snipes. He said that she violated state and federal laws by destroying ballots from this 2016 congressional race too soon, and while the ballots were the subject of a lawsuit against the office. Judge ruled that at the time. They sent other people they were supposed to send others from the Department of State, Florida's Department of State, afterward to ensure the laws were followed. Obviously, there were problems in these midterms as well. They said at the time that could have cost, just the incident in 2016 with Brenda Snipes may have cost over $200,000 to pay for attorney fees for Tim Canova. That was her opponent, the defeated candidate who sued the office. The decision stems from Canova's bid to unseat Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz in the Democratic Party. Canova was checking for vote irregularities in the race, sought to look at the paper ballots in March 2017, and took election supervisor Brenda Snipes to court 3 months later when her office hadn't fulfilled his request. So they just didn't respond to Tim Canova about looking for irregularities on the ballots. Snipes had also approved the destruction of the ballots in September, signing a certification that said no court cases involving the ballots were pending, when that was not accurate. So Brenda Snipes has been the subject of lawsuits previously. I talked about how Soros and Hillary were getting involved as well in these midterm recounts. There was an alumni group of people that are funded, backed by George Soros, and worked for Hillary Clinton's 2016 presidential campaign, that said they were coming in to help they were sending volunteers to help with the recount, to help in a variety of roles in the recount process, including observing at polls, data processing, and logistics organization. That's during this midterm elections. But even previously, and it'd be interesting to see if there are any upcoming lawsuits or criminal charges possibly directed at Brenda Snipes. George Soros has previously defended Brenda Snipes in court. George Soros has sent people. There are people that work for George Soros organizations that have backed Brenda Snipes in previous elections lawsuits. Soros-funded groups defended Broward's Brenda Snipes in a lawsuit alleging inaccurate voter rosters in one case. He was Brenda Snipes, was recently assisted by 2 organizations financed by billionaire activist George Soros in response to a lawsuit from a conservative group accusing her of maintaining inaccurate voter rolls. So could we see something similar happen if there are more lawsuits? It's good, I guess, a good start that she's been removed from the position of elections supervisor in Broward. She's been facing this heavy scrutiny. Just another article talking about the resignation today, and they have a couple of other quotes just in reaction, but they give some more context about the scrutiny that she's been handling, that she's been facing for her handling of the midterm elections that took place nearly 2 weeks ago, even though the results in Florida were only finalized Sunday. Florida Senate race was called for Republican Rick Scott on election night, but election officials in Broward and Palm Beach counties were still adding votes, which is a violation of Florida reporting law. In the days following the election, she defied a judge's orders, then allegedly mixed up illegal ballots with good ones, which she later refuted. And that was when she was already facing criticism. Many conservatives have pointed out Snipes' murky history, if not illegal acts on the job, and called for her to be removed from her position. Another quote from Donald Trump. President Trump said, "You look at her past, she's a disaster. Even with me, I won Florida, and you remember that area, Broward, didn't come in," Trump said of Broward County and Snipes. "You can only put in so many votes, although she may change that system." Snipes was originally appointed to the position in 2003 by then Governor Jeb Bush. Former governor had also called for her to be removed from office. People thought it was, I guess, sort of funny in a way that even Jeb Bush was calling for her to be fired. It's odd. As they pointed out, Jeb Bush was the one that appointed her, but he did say there's no question that Broward County Supervisor of Elections Brenda Snipes failed to comply with Florida law on multiple counts, undermining Floridans' confidence in our electoral process. Supervisor Snipes should be removed from her office following the recounts. That's what he tweeted. And we do finally have results for Florida. Republican Rick Scott defeated Democratic incumbent Bill Nelson in the Florida Senate race. Nelson finally conceded Sunday. It's just Sunday that he conceded after both machine and hand recount. Former Republican Representative Ron DeSantis also defeated Democratic Tallahassee Mayor Andrew Gillum on Saturday after the race went to a recount. So we do have there, I guess, has been some fallout. We have some results. Snipes, thankfully, has been removed from her position. People would probably like to see more than that happen. If there are more lawsuits or more criminal charges, it'd be interesting to see what kind of role others might play. We know that those George Soros groups were involved in that one lawsuit, helping protect Brenda Snipes already previously. So something to keep an eye on, continue to see how this develops. I do have a link to my Patreon account in the video description, patreon.com/realityreader. Thank you everybody that donates through there. A couple dollars makes a huge difference even. Helps me keep reporting on these issues. Patreon.com/realityreader. That and a PayPal link and a link to the original article if you want to take a look. Leave a comment. I'll follow up soon. Thank you.